It says like that. Hello and welcome to the Glasgow PT podcast, episode 46, part 7, isolation of the nation. I don't know how many more of these we're going to do, isolation of the nation. Hopefully no much more, 2 or 3 preferably. But either way, we've got Scott Simpson in the house as always.
Hello, how are we doing?
And today me and Scott are joined by Caitlin Fitzpatrick.
Wow.
How do you pronounce it? Fitzness?
Fitzness.
Fitzness. She is one of the busiest, most successful PTs, female PTs in Glasgow. So it's good to get her on. We need some diversity in this podcast. And Caitlin's going to bring that to the table today. Caitlin, just tell my followers, my listeners who you are if they don't already know you.
I'm Caitlin Fitzpatrick. I'm 23. Been a personal trainer for just over 3 years now. I'm based in Paisley and Evolution, and I predominantly work with fat loss female.
Awesome. Cool. It sounds like a job interview, doesn't it? Yeah. That's good. Awesome. So Caitlin is going to share with us her best hints and tips for all things, as the heading suggests, well, the sort of caption of the heading suggests, building a community and the importance of it, especially in this current state of affairs with lockdown. And everyone's starting to feel a bit maybe lonely or a bit withdrawn from society. We're going to share as trainers how we've built up a community in our business and the importance of it and different factors of it. And then we're also going to talk about who we've got in our tribe, as they call it, or for want of a better word, or who we've got round about us that sort of keeps us level pegging. It keeps us motivated. It keeps us disciplined. And hopefully, by the time we cover all that, you guys will realise that, maybe makes you question that you need either a new one or you need some more people around about you or you need to be part of a community, stuff like that. So hopefully that'll help. So we'll just dive right in, guys, and talk about, obviously, community as a whole right now has never been more important from a personal trainer's point of view. I've said this in many a podcast that one of the weakest elements of my business was probably community. The way I first sort of arrogantly thought about community was when you think of community as a personal training point of view, I thought watered down tailored stuff. So I thought it was like, I don't know if you felt this as well, but I felt like if you had community stuff like groups and lower ticket or lower pricing options, I always felt it was a bit generic. I thought it was a lot of people for the sake of for the return of investment, I feel. So that was my kind of perception of community at the start. It was quite arrogant. It was quite blinded, to be honest. Scott, you're quite similar to me in a sense of you've done a lot of one-to-one. So you met the client, you've seen the client. So I don't know, mate, if you felt that you never really needed community in a sense, because as far as I was concerned, this client doesn't need to meet that client because they're paying you for one-to-one services. And I don't know about you, mate. Did you find that at the start as well? Something similar?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I think when it comes to that side of things, I think you can, obviously a massive part of when you're coaching is, if you're paying for the coaches, you're getting like a kind of very individual, person-centered approach. And because there's so many elements of it are so individual, I think that we can focus on that quite a lot. But I do think there's a lot of benefits to having a level of, because it ties in quite a lot with accountability. There's a lot of benefits to having different types of accountability, and some people do thrive under a kind of group accountability type setting compared to that kind of one-to-one interpersonal sort of accountability that you more typically see on one-to-one coaching. So yeah,
peer accountability, it's massive, isn't it? Like it's an element that I just recently added when I started the transformation challenge. I realised kind of how powerful it was once you got everybody engaged, how powerful it is for motivation, a wee bit of competitiveness as well for people. Like you said, mate, there's obviously certain clients who just want the one-to-one tailored approach where it's just you and them. They don't maybe like talking to other people because they've opened up to you in the consultation process or whatever. But yeah, I think that was the same, mate, in terms of every client's different, obviously. Some clients might not be suited to go in a big group chat or whatever. Some might. And that's what I found. 2 ways I found that out was the transformation challenge, so the Facebook group with everybody in it, and then the photo shoot group challenge for all the guys or the girls that are doing my photo shoot. And that group honestly has been brilliant ever since. Noticing what can be part of a community, how they can be accountable to each other, how to pick each other up, and just share each other's wins. Caitlin, I think you've been doing this for quite a long time now. I don't know if it's just been the nature of you being a female and getting a big group of girls, or is that something that you've kind of hit the ground running with, or is it something that you've picked up over time?
So my community predominantly started when I started my boot camp, which was about 2.5 years ago. So it started off as WhatsApps, and then a few of the girls were like hashtagging Body by Fitzness, hashtagging me. So I put all my clients into a closed Facebook group, and it was just basically I had that rather than putting stuff on my social media, information about maybe me going on holiday and stuff. And then it started to be that girls commented to each other. So then I started to put more information on it about like meals and stuff like that, like just diet hacks, tips, information, videos of me speaking, just because I've done that in a closed group rather than on my Instagram. And then my bootcamp WhatsApp group was like growing. The girls like didn't want to lose that. That's what kind of kept them going. So it was kind of the demand of my clients that made me start it up, if that makes sense. They thrived on that, the girls. I think it kept them going. Other people and their kind of like-minded females in the same position as them, mums, students, parents, all kind of the same goal. So it made sense to have everyone in one area. It also made it a bit easier for me for communicating with my clients as well.
Definitely. That's one thing I've found. It's managing a number of people and getting your message across quicker. I don't know if you guys have felt this, but when you make a change to payment information or whatever, you have to kind of message them all individually, which takes a long, long time when you've got a sort of established business. Definitely, I found that when I started the Transformation Challenge, getting everybody in that group, it became clear that it wasn't just about me just giving out sort of like a bog standard copy and paste approach to training nutrition. It was like, right, everybody's got their plans, but you're going to come in this group and you're going to share your wins, you're going to share with each other, and then just as a trainer, you hope that they hit the ground running, and then the page can almost run itself. There's probably times where you'll have A-list clients who answer other clients' questions as well, which I found very good. Like I've got a few clients who have been training for a number of years in the photo shoot group, and quite often they ask the questions that the younger clients have got, which is brilliant because that reaffirms the faith of the client, showing that they feel quite comfortable in their knowledge. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing better than that when a client answers another client's question. That is proper scaling. That is proper leading. It's showing that you've got a community there. Like Caitlin said there, obviously it probably just happened by her type of clientele. You might get some businesses that aren't set up for community based, especially if you're training a wide range of clients. It might be a bit of a disaster with a group chat if you have half young females and half 40 plus. It might just get a bit crazy. So you just got to kind of gauge it for you. But that's where then I think you have to pick the right platform. You might not want a WhatsApp for people who are so different, because a lot of people could get demotivated by that. It could distract them. If people are running businesses or, really, really big, busy jobs, the last thing they want is being sort of like messaged all day and every day in a group chat. It could be demotivating. So, yeah, I think that's something that anybody listening to this and is looking to build a community, I would, it's not just WhatsApps and Facebook groups. It's go, right, what could my clients benefit from? Do you know what I mean? It might just be an email list. It could be anything like that. It could be weekly sort of conference calls. You get some clients who would actually appreciate that. So, yeah, I think it's worth considering that you need to kind of gauge your clients and what they would benefit from before you just dive into something because it will just be a recipe for disaster. What's the most important part of your community then? What would you say? What's the most important element? Caitlin, you go first of your community. What do you think they benefit most from?
How inclusive it is, like everyone is involved. My girls are quite good at like replying, engaging, like motivating each other. So like even new people in the past couple of weeks have came on and they feel like they've been there for ages and the girls have never met them and they feel like they know each other. So everyone is so included. I don't think anyone feels that kind of singled out way. It is dead close knitted community. So if somebody posts a message, like you said, my clients who've been with me for longer are replying. The girls are like, oh, how did you go about doing this? And it is just like they take each other under their wing, which is which is good, but it is very inclusive. Like I've got from probably my youngest is 20 to I think my oldest is about 45. But even at that, like they keep each other motivated. So just before I came on this call, one of the girls is like, "Oh, I can't get myself off the couch," and all the girls are like, "Right, come on, get up, get moving. Like, think how much better you felt for it yesterday." So it is dead inclusive. Like nobody in there's kind of struggling on their own. So
Yeah.
I think that is the good thing about mine. It is constant, which is what the girls need.
Brilliant. And it's obviously just by the sort of, as a coach, you need to do a lot to get it to that place at the start. You've probably found that. You've probably found weeks and months of constantly hitting home the same message, you know, sharing the Fitbit, sharing your Apple Watch, or burning your calories, those kind of things consistently from you and your sort of star clients is what sort of gets it to that phase. Like I say, I never had a community group or any kind of Facebook group before my photo shoot and the challenge, and now I'm like, it's the only way forward for me, especially when you want to scale big term. And I think right now, one of the biggest things I find right now for clients is to be part of something. So, you know, when they sit there and they're trapped in the house with the same, you know, their boyfriend or girlfriend or their, you know, a family member, just being able to tell somebody that you're part of something. You know, even you guys will know that as soon as you get a client, they sing for the heavens that they've now got a PT, don't they? They like to tell people, you know, I've signed up with Scott or I've signed up with Caitlin, because they like to be part of something. And I think that's where, you know, like Slim Fast and Weight Watchers and all these kind of slimming world groups, I think that's where the one thing they do really well is they build a community. Their dieting methods might be questionable, but they definitely know how to build a community, man, even right down to the community halls, the local community halls where 20 of them rock up and they're just like, how's yours this week? I feel like that's kind of our clients, but except we drag them away and we show them a lot more mature approach and a lot more, you know, accurate approach. But they do that really well and it works for them. They've got thousands, millions of members. So I think we can take wee shades of that. You know, you can tell that people really get a buzz by sharing each other's journey and complimenting each other and getting compliments and the gratification that comes with it. So I think we need to take wee shades of that and make it work for us. So being part of something, especially in a time right now where people feel vulnerable, they feel uncertain, they don't feel safe. Right now, when you have a community of people run about you, it makes you feel safer. It makes you feel a lot more confident, I feel. What do you think of that?
I definitely I'd agree. I think some people just thrive more under group accountability. That's where these kind of, like what you were saying about Weight Watchers, Slimming World and stuff like that, they can step into it, and it's something that when done right can be highly effective for a lot of people. I think that when it comes to setting up a community, what you're probably ideally looking for, like you were saying about your challenges that you're doing and things like that, is you're looking for people with similar goals. People who like that group accountability thing. The kind of added bonus that you probably have with those challenges, you've got people working within a similar time frame as well, and it just gives people the chance to kind of, I think especially just now, because a lot of people have the same struggles just now. A lot of people are seeing the same issues, the difficulty of changing routine. I think initially, I don't think it's as much of a thing now, but people were struggling to resource like maybe common quote-unquote health foods that they would kind of be their go-tos, maybe struggling to get chicken breast or whatever, and you can kind of share in those struggles. People find it difficult to kind of separate being productive and relaxing when you're doing everything in the one place. So I think that it has that vibe, doesn't it? It's that kind of ability, especially if everyone has a similar goal and everyone can kind of share in each other's struggles and they can kind of, if they're kind of embracing that group accountability thing, then I think it is something that works really well. And it's obviously worked well for places like Weight Watchers and Slimming World, and we could sit and question methods because some of them are really questionable, but that is one thing that they do very, very well and kind of led from the front on a little bit initially, probably. I don't know when these things came into existence or whatever, but they definitely capitalised on that sort of group think, that group accountability thing, getting everyone together with the same goal and getting them to share the experience.
Yeah, mate, exactly. Caitlin, you'll know this as well, where you know, clients have got separate check-ins, so they send you check-in pictures, they send you photos, they send you measurements. But to on top of that, as a coach, right, that's our service. But imagine on top of that, for the added, like push, the group also, they don't get to see the sort of private ones, but they get to go, that's my check-in in, I've sent Caitlin it, I'm waiting for feedback, and now I just chill for the rest of my Saturday or Friday, whatever. And as a coach and as a business owner, that's a no-brainer to have. So the return on investment on that is going to be way greater, isn't it? because they've got your check-in and then they've got the check-in for the group. You know, when Caitlin, you constantly get people to share how many calories they've burned in a day. And if you're looking and going, fuck, there's such and such, there's Scott, there's Caitlin shared their calories burned, I better get up off my arse because I'm not going to be the only one missing this. So, and what that's going to yield is better results all round for everybody. Better results for the client, better results for the trainer. So I think people have got to realise if you're struggling to get results for your clients, or you're struggling to get results as a individual who's doing fat loss or whatever, imagine adding on top of your training accountability, adding on some people as well. If you found that's what for you, Caitlin, just people expressing that and going, right, I've checked in, or I'm progressing, or here's my measurements or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. One of my females in my group chat actually, she's a head teacher, and she can't actually, as much as she wants to share her progress on social media, with her job, she couldn't for the pictures she took in her underwear. So what she said to the girls was, after these 8 weeks, I'm going to share them with you. And every week girls were like, oh yes, Claire, like you lost weight, can't wait to see your picture. And then at the end of the 8 weeks, she shared her picture, and like that was a massive thing for her because she'd told everyone she was going to share her picture. So it put a lot, almost like good amount of pressure on her to make sure she did get results. And I said last week, Chris, I've been sharing my check-in with my clients. I've been sharing my progress picture on my community page as well. I think it's important at this time my clients know I'm just as human as them. I've not got them either. I'm facing just as many struggles. So for accountability for me, it's definitely worked. I've been putting on the girls like, oh, that's good. And I sent one of my clients my progress picture, and she was like, God, I wouldn't think you actually had that weight to lose, or that's what you look like we are clothes off. So and I was like, it's important to me for you to know I'm just as human as you guys. It's keep me accountable. I'm working out with my clients more in the group and stuff like that. So it has that community vibe. I think it's keeping everyone kind of sane just now.
It's that even, so you've just got even more of a relatability buy-in for your clients there. You know, I'm the same. I share everything with my clients. I share business. I share, I let them know when I feel shite as well. Scott, I feel, obviously Caitlin was mentioned there about the training. I might be wrong here, but see, you know that the clients, you're doing home workouts for your clients where you're doing the full workout, showing them it. I bet you never thought that would be as successful as it's been, mate. Because they're now, I bet half of your clients would never have seen you train. They've seen you doing the odd few reps in your story and that, but they have never seen you train the way in that way. I bet they've learned a few things about you.
Probably. I know some of them take some sort of weird pleasure in seeing me getting a wee bit uncomfortable as well.
Aye, that's what I mean.
I know, like in little things as well. Like I'm quite competitive, so I don't mind in those workouts. I think there's, even for myself, I was actually saying this to a client. I had a call with a client earlier on today, and I was saying about how useful I've found just having the pressure of, I've said to clients, so they've all got like individual plans that I've kind of given them based on their accessibility to equipment and space. But I've also said, I'm going to do 4 of these, and we're going to break things up a little bit. You can use these to kind of supplement your home workouts. We're going to do 4 of these a week, and you can sort of follow along. And it's been massive for me, actually. You know, that pressure of knowing that someone's going to see this, someone's going to be watching this. I can't like fall short because I've said I'm going to deliver on these, so I have to do them. Because there are some days you can't be asked. Everyone gets that. And so it's been quite useful for me in a kind of selfish sense. But I know some of them have taken some degree of sort of pleasure in it. But I think also, it's that relatability thing. I think to see me struggle a little bit, and to see me sweating and sometimes swearing, and do you know what I mean, and really kind of struggling to get by is probably been something that they've hopefully drawn a little bit of I don't want to say inspiration, that sounds like you're blowing smoke up your arse. I think just like a little bit of like relatability, a little bit of it's because I think if I didn't do that, you would do the workout and you're like, am I meant to be struggling this much? Do you know what I mean? Whereas when you see me really kind of struggling, it's helpful. So I found it massively beneficial on 2 fronts. One is, one of the things I think people are going to struggle with just now is the tedium of it. So I think to try and keep things as varied as possible, that was my main driver behind doing them actually. But the other thing as well is just that, the accountability thing. I'm posting them in there, and I think it's a relatable thing to see someone else, to follow along with them and see them struggle. Yeah,
I mean, I think Caitlin will be the same. Caitlin's probably as busy as us in terms of one-to-one. And I've took my hours back a wee bit, but Scott and Caitlin use are rammed every day. But I think the biggest thing I found as a trainer is the sense of accomplishment each day, or chasing that sense of accomplishment. You know, normally when you do 7 or 8, 9 hours of PT, you see the accomplishment. You don't sit there and go, oh, I've accomplished my day. You look at it and go, right, 7, 8 hours of PT done, I'm doing my job. Then you do all the work on top of that. So I found, and Scott will be the same probably with his home workouts, that when I do my MetaFit, when I do my 2 classes, on top of the check-ins, on top of the, you know, chasing the clients up for the home workouts, I feel a sense of achievement as a trainer, because right now, let's face it, we're trainers without a gym now. So we kind of feel like, are we doing enough? Am I doing enough for the client? I know I felt that anyway. So when I do my class with the guys, and, you know, after we're all sweating and, you know, a virtual high five or whatever, and we're like, right, enjoy your day. That gives me a sense of accomplishment. I don't know about yous, but because it's quite hard to get that now as a trainer. You know, when you go from 100 mile an hour to 5 mile an hour, sitting on the laptop, just trying to get people engaged. So for me, the sense of accomplishment has come from the classes that I never thought I would have done. I don't know if you guys have felt that, but that's for me. When I do that MetaFit after it, I'm like, right, laptop up. Who else needs support? What else we're doing? And that's the only thing that's getting me through the accomplishment thing, you know, I'd say. Cool. Smashing. So let's talk another part of like having a sort of, you know, a group of people run about you, sort of the community feel, and that's routine. So I don't know if you have separate things you do in your group, Caitlin, Monday, Tuesdays or whatever. Obviously routine could be that you get people to send in post-workout selfies or their calories burned. But one of the biggest things about having a community is the routine. So I found with the Transformation Challenge, people that, you know, if I do a live every Wednesday night or every Thursday night or whenever I do it or whenever I plan it, as long as there's routine. And I guess all these things are just part and parcel of each other, because that brings normality. It brings a feeling of safety. It brings accountability because there's routine there as well. So I don't know about you, Caitlin, but if you felt like having that routine there for the team as well has been massive for it.
Like, I think I'm loving it, and the girls are loving having a structure, because usually all my clients are with me set days and set times. They know what they're training, they know what their schedule for the week is. So I've made a timetable for my clients in the community group of the days and times I'm going live. So most days it's 12 and 6. Quite a lot of my clients are still working from home. Some are key workers and on shifts. So for my lives, they save and the girls can do them when they want. Most of them are tuning in, out about 35 of them. There's about 25 of them tuning in there and then. The rest are catching up with it. So, yeah, it definitely helps having a structure. Like tonight on a Tuesday at 6 o'clock, I do a question, a live question and answer. So this morning I put the post up asking everyone their questions, and already the girls know what questions they want to ask. There's loads of questions in the comments. So they know that, like, come a Tuesday, they're going to get the answers to kind of questions that they maybe want to go in depth with.
Yep.
So that's been quite beneficial. Like, they know that they've got that set time to ask their questions. Like, they might have a bit more depth or whatever.
Of course, that's perfect. Like, I was speaking to one of my colleagues on the phone earlier, and I was explaining to him about just having that schedule there. Type it up. You don't need to make it look hell of a fancy, but that's what I share. And when I share that to my clients every Saturday, I have the week ahead, for people who love routine and love structure. It's all right saying to them, here's what I'm going to give you, send you. You know yourself, with clients, we sometimes need to make it black and white and obvious for them. So giving them that, like, sort of timetable just makes you go, oh, it's exciting. It also makes people go, right, I'm going to plan my day around that. So if you can give them, you know, Scott's home workout, your own home workout, and then what we're going to do is go live at 6 o'clock. This is every Tuesday. Tuesday's sorted, it's dialed in. And I feel, given the circumstances, we kind of need to take each day as it comes. But we need to take each day as it comes with a bit of purpose. We can't just go, don't know what's happening tomorrow, I'll see when I wake up. Because then you're going to start reacting emotionally. And, you know, when I've got a MetaFit on, that's all I've got planned. I need to tick that box. And I think a lot of people right now are just taking each day as it comes. And it's a recipe for disaster, because, you know, the days are slipping by. You don't know what day it is these days. So if you let that happen, not only are you going to act reactively and emotionally to situations that present themselves, you're not going to have structure or a purpose to your day. So I think a lot of people need to realise that about the routine aspect. And sometimes just having a community of people run about you, they give you that routine. You know, normally, Scott mentioned it well in the last podcast about normally your work give you a routine. They say to you, here's your shifts. And you go, okay, I'll build myself around that. And it's like, no, it's time for you to take control of your day. And, you know, you've probably seen a million things on Instagram that people are putting up, and 6 a.m. they take a pee, 6:15 fucking they walk into the kitchen, 6:20 they put the kettle on. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like that, but just knowing that 3 or 4 fundamentals of your week right now are locked in. So podcast, for me, metafits are already established. My walk, then after that, it depends how I feel. As long as I've done them, then I can chill. I can watch Harry Potter at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Do you know what I mean?
So I've made like a thread on my community page, and basically every night the girls plan what they're going to do the next day, just because I think it'll be more productive for them. And I've told them just to put in like when they plan to eat breakfast, roughly, then what their work shift is, when they plan to exercise, to plan their walk. Because sometimes they leave at like 7 o'clock at night and wing it. You know what it's like. Oh, it's 7 o'clock, it's starting to get dark, I won't bother going. So the kind of fundamentals I've told the girls to plan, just the same way they would plan in what days are going to come to the gym anyway. They'd plan a structure. So I think without structure, you are just kind of winging your days, and you've got more chance of falling off track, not being accountable, kind of wasting your time. And as it says, on Sunday, I barely moved out of my bed. I was knackered, I had a migraine. And I'm like, I can't believe that's a full day gone already. But I never planned to do anything. Had I planned to go, this is probably the most productive time I've had, as I am 24/7 with work. So I've actually managed to do things I maybe never had time to do before. So I've told the girls to even plan stuff like that, like when they're going to tidy out their wardrobe, like just planning you time, but also planning exercise and important stuff, but also just planning to have a bit of time where you just switch off and do nothing.
Yep. That's it. It's like literally there's been 8 hours taken out of most people's day. Most people are still working from home, right? That's fine. But all you need to do is look at your day and then replace the 8 hours with 4 hours of something else. And then let the 4 hours be leisure. So your 8-hour shift, you would normally be in work. For some people, it's 10 hours because the time they commute and then there and back, it's 10 hours of your day. So look at that and go, right, let's just try and get 4 hours worth of stuff. What could the 4 hours be? Right, I'll tune into the live Q&A. I'll listen to a podcast. I'll read a book. I'll go a walk. Right, what else? And after that, if you've exhausted all options, cool. At least you've done 4 hours of stuff. And I think that's the best way to look at it. Don't look at it as if my whole world's been turned upside down. Now I need to fill my days. Because let's be honest, a lot of us get up at 6 o'clock, 6:30. We go to work. The general people go to work for 9 o'clock. They commute in. They go to work. They come back at 5:30, 6. They sit on the couch, chill, get dinner. Then they throw something on and watch something. So let's be real here. That although everything's been turned upside down, there's still scope to do a lot more stuff, and that works for you. I just feel people are starting to look at this situation as if it's turned upside down. Like you said there, Caitlin, normally you plan the gym tomorrow, so let's just plan a workout tomorrow and then take it from there. I think thankfully everybody's acclimating to these circumstances now. We're starting to realise that we don't have an end in sight. So right now we need to make the most of it. And if you're starting to slip off, then just give yourself a shake and try something different. Whatever you've done for the last 10 days, it hasn't worked, or even 2 weeks. So just try something different. This takes us on to our next point before we ramble on anymore, is who's in your tribe. So these 2 points marry up together. So for a lot of people, for clients, the tribe could be fellow clients of the PT that you train with. So that's part of your tribe. It could be your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever has a direct influence on whatever you say and do. So Scott, you go first. You have quite a small tribe. You're a very reserved man.
That's right. Yeah. Well, you want me to name names or what?
Name names, or just say.
You just want me to say you?
No, I don't want you to say me. I just need just people. Like, it doesn't have to be people. It just has to be.
Don't know where I'd be without you, to be honest.
Right, carry on.
No, but
I can go first if you want, mate.
No, I'll go first. It's all right.
Right.
I think so. I'd definitely say that in the gym that we work at the same gym, and we've worked together for a wee while. So and we're kind of on the same page with a lot of things, the two of us. So I think that obviously yourself, I live with Andy. He's been on the podcast a few times. I would definitely 100% consider him part of that. And there's a few other people at the gym as well that I do lean on when it comes to ideas and just chatting stuff, fitness related and things like that. Another thing is, when it comes to this conversation as well about your tribe, I actually think that I've got quite a few people outside of that realm, outside of the realm of fitness and stuff like that as well. That's kind of like a good sort of to get a different perspective on things. I've got some friends and family beyond that kind of like I'll probably lean on with some things, and they might not understand necessarily the technicalities of fitness, but I think sometimes the fitness game can become a bit of a bubble, and you can get kind of caught up in certain things, and I think it's good to be able to kind of step outside that. So I would say, yeah, definitely within fitness, I probably do have a relatively small, tight-knit community that I would sort of go to in terms of like bouncing ideas off of and asking questions and all that sort of stuff. And I would say outside of it as well, I do have like a kind of a group of people that I go to. I've got some mates who aren't gym members, they're not too bothered about it. That kind of thing, and I quite like being able to go outside of that and either get away from it or just to kind of ask their perspective from an outside perspective on certain things that I'm kind of thinking about in relation to like fitness, the fitness industry, the way in which I do things and stuff like that. So yeah, that's it.
No, mate, spot on. I was going to say something similar. It is good to always get that. Sometimes, like, even like my ma, she hardly knows anything that's going on. Like, like, she still thinks, I don't know, she still thinks stars in her eyes is on and all that. Like, do you know what I mean? So she's good to just, and for me, it's like you say, mate, there is a bubble. There definitely is a bubble. And sometimes we get caught up on that, especially as trainers, when we compare ourselves to other business owners, and we almost get down a rabbit hole, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute here, what's your values? Why are you doing that? What's the point of that? And that's why I'm saying it's important for people to have this, because otherwise you will get caught in a rabbit hole chasing the lights. You'll literally be like, oh, that trainer's doing this, boom, that trainer's doing that, boom. And while you're copying all those people or taking bits from it, you'll end up losing your values and who you are as a person. So it's important. So I do think that's spot on, mate. You need somebody that doesn't really get this stuff so they can tell you the honest thoughts behind it. I think family members do that quite well. They'll just ask you something and point blank, you'll go, actually, why do I do that? Which is quite good. So I agree with you. Caitlin, you go next.
So probably within my kind of tribe, like my sister's one of my longest standing clients who's actually got really good results, but she kind of gives me perspective from a client's point of view, which sometimes isn't things I consider. Maybe like how I would message something, I'd maybe ask her like what she thought of it, just because she is my sister. But definitely Kieran, my boyfriend, who's brutally honest, sometimes too brutally honest, but helps because he almost simplifies things, and like someone who's not even related to fitness, like he plays football and stuff, but he's like, no, why are you doing that, or don't do that, or like he just simplifies things. I sometimes overcomplicate things. I think it's hard when you are self-employed or you're running your own business. It's like, who do you ask if that's kind of all right? Like, you're the one kind of calling all the shots. Yep. So sometimes I'll run something by Keenan and he's like, that, no, don't do that, or aye, that's a great idea. Like, is brutally honest with me, which sometimes you do need. And also probably my dad, who's also self-employed business owner and can kind of give me a bit more perspective on like things like when the isolation thing and all that started, like about worrying about my business. My dad runs 3 successful businesses, so that definitely gave me a scope as an outsider with a different perspective on a different business. But yeah, usually as the people closest to me in my family, I'm the only kind of fitness person in my family. So it is good to get an outsider's point of view, but also someone who respects me and is close to me and knows me and my personality.
Yep. Aye, it's definitely important. I think the theme here is that it's good to have somebody outside of the realm, but also somebody that's got to tell you straight, and somebody that will tell you stuff that you might not like to hear. That's important as well. You know, if you don't have somebody like that, the chances are you're on the fence. The chances are you're playing too safe, in my opinion, because you're just being a yes man or you're just being too nice to everything. It's always good to just kind of go, well, get told straight. I don't like it, but it's good. I think we all need it at some points, because sometimes we get too carried away with ourselves, or we underplay ourselves, or we overplay ourselves. So it is important. Family is an obvious one. I think you guys will agree that this is a similar thing for clients. If we like to ask your client who is in a fat loss phase, right, who has got your back in this fat loss phase? And you go, right, my partner isn't really about it, but he supports me 100%. Brilliant. Then you hear the other one, didn't you? You hear, he doesn't really understand why I pay for a PT because I've been training for a year or two and he doesn't know why I pay it. And that's also could be a negative element to it. But I think the key here with solving all that, and it's like anybody, is communication. So just saying, look, to your boyfriend or girlfriend that doesn't understand why you do PT, it's like, look, I do feel really shite. I don't feel great in myself. I wake up every morning. I know you might think I'm still confident, but I'm really not. I need Scott or Caitlin to get me through this process of feeling better for you and for us as a couple to go forward. So that's the communication. Because I've had some clients come back to me and go, oh, my boyfriend, girlfriend is just, sometimes they leave PT because of that. They actually just say, like, or they'll put another thing in front of it, but really, it might have been that, because later on you learn that. And it's like, well, they might be negative about that because how much money it is, or they don't understand why you send progress pictures, or they don't understand why you go to the gym every night when you could go home and chill with him or her. So it's about communication. It's about being, look, the reason I go to the gym Monday to Friday after work every night is I feel terrible. I don't feel great. I need to start being my old self again. We've got a holiday coming up. You'll probably notice that I never wore the bikinis that I normally wear. I threw stuff over myself because I just don't feel great. And he or she will always be like, you look fine to me. You look great. You look all right. But that's a sort of blinded approach there. And what ends up happening is you might just have that opinion and that opinion only. You can always rely, especially females, they can always rely on an honest pal going like that. Fucking hell, hen. Do you know what I mean? So that's one of those things that you need to consider, communicating with each other and just saying, look, this is how I feel. Because if your boyfriend and girlfriend doesn't need to know if you don't tell them, they just sort of see it from a blinded perspective. So communicate is key, and that comes with family. It comes with I've had PTs who they tell me they don't get the buy-in from their family, and it's like, well, have you told them that you really want to make this work as a career? Maybe they just think this is something you're doing in your mid-20s just to pass by before you get a full-time job. I know I certainly felt that where PTs don't. A lot of PTs come up against that at certain points of their career. It's like, nah, it's not a serious thing. They'll not be a PT forever. So that's something that you've got to kind of combat. And again, communication is key. But similar to yours, obviously, like Caitlin, got my girlfriend who she also keeps me in a line with, in terms of a client's point of view. She's a female. I train predominantly females. So she'll sort of say how that looks from her perspective. Generally, I train fat loss females for fat loss, and I have done for a good while. So I like to think I've got their mind down to like decent anyway. But sometimes I can be wrong, and she'll sort of stay me in line. Likes of Scott, me and Scott are very different people, but we have very similar approaches and very similar goals towards it. Hence why we did this podcast. I'm a lot more, I would say, a lot more rash thinking than Scott. Scott observes a bit better than me, but at the same time, I'll say, that'll counter, and I'll say to Scott, mate, just fucking do it. Stop waiting, and then he takes action based on that. Sometimes I need to give things a lot more thought, in which case his feedback will probably make me take a back seat and maybe instead of rushing things. So I feel that's a good bit of connection. I feel that's been a good wee while for a couple of years now, Scott. In terms of, and obviously we have that daily as well, so it's good to have that constant check. I mean, for example, I edited a photo earlier and sent it to Scott, just to get his approval how good looking I was, and it was good. It worked.
It's fantastic.
Also, Phil Graham as well, which is, as you know, is my mentor. He's one of the very few guys that when I listen to it, I get most of what he says. I think a lot of people these days with a lot of names in the industry, they sort of take bits for everybody, which is good. Do you know what I mean? You can still learn a lot from different people. By all means, they've got different approaches, different strategies. But I think sometimes listening to too many voices can lead to a lot of uncertainty. I think you can sort of get, again, caught up in the headlights a wee bit. So the message that he sends out and the sort of the way he goes about his business, I like that a lot. And I take a lot of it to, in my business. I also love the accountability that a mentor brings. I've said to Scott a few times, Phil will just randomly reply to my story, just laughing about food or whatever. Then the next day he'll reply just saying how much money you made this month. And I'll be like, fuck. So it's like having that accountability, somebody who's like, right, you better be growing your business, but also somebody that's there, it's like, I'm always watching you. He doesn't even follow me, and yet he'll reply to my stories every so often because he knows. Do you know what I mean? And I love that. I love that accountability factor. Caitlin, I often reply to your stuff, and when you do something new, I'm always like, "What an idea! That's brilliant!" And hopefully that gives you a wee bit of like, right, okay, because it's always good to get a wee bit of feedback for fellow trainers as well. We don't want to. We're not competing against each other.
Yeah.
If that was the case, me and Scott would be on this podcast promoting all our stuff. Whereas in fact, it's the opposite. We want a different perspectives. We want different approaches, and especially from the female community. That's why we got you on as well.
I think you anyway. Like before, kind of lockdown, I would probably class you as someone kind of quite close around me that I would confide in about business stuff to get. You are quite brutally honest with me. You have been a few times, Chris, but in a good way, to just kind of bring me back down to earth. Like, right, what you panicking about, what you doing, like, so I think you do need that as well from someone else in the industry. So obviously you've got kind of Scott, I kind of lean on you a wee bit. I've also started mentoring with Phil as well, so you definitely do need that with someone who does know, but it's good to have someone who doesn't know kind of the ins and out of it as well.
Yeah, definitely. And it's funny sometimes the feedback or the answer they give you, even when Scott, you speak to your mum on the phone a lot, you've probably said things like, "Oh, yeah, I'm off the phone and I've got 5 in a row," or whatever. And even wee things like that, I feel they're like 5 in a row, 5 clients in a row, shit like that. And it's like, how many you had today, and you tell them you've had 6, and they're like, you've had 11 in the one day, and you're probably like to yourself, my man's probably right. I should maybe stop that. Do you know what I mean? Just wee things like that. And obviously as well, as we do, all we do is talk about fitness. All we do is talk about fat loss, calorie deficits. All we do is talk about encouraging people. So sometimes it's just good to know to talk about any of this. Do you know what I mean? And just be like, what is on the telly? That's why I quite like conspiracy theories and mad shitey YouTube videos, because it's not to do with real life. Do you know what I mean? That's why I like sci-fi and that, because it's not even real life. It just takes me away. Do you know what I mean? Because I've been quite stressed recently. Did I ever tell you about the dream that I always have? No. So I have this. I have this dream, right, when I'm stressed, and I don't know if it's like an anxiety thing. I don't feel stressed, but obviously there's stress in my life in terms of business, whatever. And it always takes me back to working in Sainsbury's, right? This dream, it's brutal, man. It's like mental torture. It's not like my tooth's falling out or anything. It's just mental torture, right? So I go back to working in Sainsbury's, right? Literally, I'm in the customer service desk, and there's like people coming up to me and going, "Hi, I've lost property. Can you check if my bag's in there?" And I'm like, and I'm walking there using the keys that I used to use and all that. And I'm just like, then I click, and I'm like, I'm wearing the Sainsbury's uniform. I don't work here anymore. And I'm raging, right? But there's customers coming up to me, and it's like getting overwhelming. And then one woman was like, "Oh, hi." She phoned up, right? And she's like, "Oh, I left my shopping." And I was like, "I just come in and get it. I can see it here, right?" And then another guy phoned me, and he's like, "I've left my backpack." And I was like, "It's fine, it's here." Right? The guy came, right, and got his backpack. Do you know the woman's shopping was in the backpack? So he took it away, right? And then the woman came in and goes, "Where's my shopping?" And I was like, "That guy's just took it in the backpack." This was all happening in my dream, right? Mental torture. So anyway, what was the point of that story? That was just stress related. So anyway, that's what I got recently, and what I did the next night was phone off at 7:00. I put on a shitey YouTube video. No, I watched Harry Potter actually. Put Harry Potter on, and I just zoned out, and I didn't have that dream again. I get that dream every sort of 6 months to a year. Like I got it when I started PT as well, and it's it might not sound like much, but it does feel horrifying because I can't get away. It must be like a meaning of like trapped and anxious, and that must be. See, when I first got promoted in Sainsbury's, I felt stressed because I got a new job and I was important. So that must take me back to the first time I ever felt that or something. I don't know. I'll need to speak to a palm reader or something like that, or a clairvoyant to see what the chat is for that. But anyway, that's my wee bit there. Anything else you guys want to add that you think people would benefit from? Caitlin, tell us a bit about what you offer. Tell us a bit about your boot camp. Well, not your boot camp, but tell us about the group and stuff and how people can reach you and contact you.
So my group it's weekly, and there's a monthly option as well. It's on Facebook, so we do 67 live workouts a week. You can contact me on my Fitzness Instagram, which is Fitzness_PT, or on Facebook at FitznessCF. So you can jump in and out. If anyone wants to try it, just drop me a message. I'm happy to add you in. You can try one of the workouts tomorrow. We've got 2 workouts tomorrow. My boot camp runs on a Monday and a Saturday. That's probably really successful again, the girls love the community aspect of it. So that's an 8-week block that runs just consistently. Usually the same people try sign up, just depending on what their goals is. So it's a fat loss boot camp on a Monday night and a Saturday morning in 2 different gyms. So 2 different types of training. One's kind of group exercise and one's kind of functional. So and 1-to-1 PT.
Awesome. That's cool. People reach out to Caitlin if you are needing more of a community vibe, needing all the things that we mentioned. As always, you know Scott's details. He will be ready to give you his detailed approach as always. And guys, hope you've enjoyed it and took some good value from it. Definitely go back and get a pen and a notepad and take some notes and action it for the next couple of days, because this will give you some structure and this will give you some reassurance that you're not alone in what you're doing right now. So as always, if you can, share it please onto your stories, tag me, Caitlin and Scott, and have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you on the other side. Thanks guys.